On June 29, 1972, the Supreme Court of the United States stunned the nation by ruling in Furman v. Georgia that the death penalty violated the 8th and 14th Amendments. This decision basically outlawed capital punishment until each state that wanted to reinstate it reworked their laws and procedures to meet Supreme Court guidelines. Digging deeper, it seems that over 200 years of previous experience had not perfected the procedure. The court found judicial practices so arbitrary and inconsistent that a grossly uneven administration of capital punishment was the result, so much so that it constituted cruel and unusual punishment. In wake of their ruling, those convicts on death row awaiting execution were given a reprieve since they had been sentenced under a system found to be unconstitutional. Even Sirhan, the murderer of Robert F. Kennedy, was spared. Over the next few years, 37 states rewrote their capital punishment laws and procedures, and by 1976, those states had re-entered the legal people-killing business. Currently, 31 states still maintain capital punishment, although vigorous campaigns have been mounted to make all forms of execution illegal in the United States. Greater impetus for the movement to ban capital punishment is partially the result of botched executions, where the condemned was seen by witnesses to be writhing in pain for extended lengths of time. Drug companies have also been refusing to sell the drugs used for lethal injection to those states that use that form of capital punishment, which has created a whole new set of problems as new concoctions are being formulated to efficiently kill the condemned. Medical and scientific advancements in DNA have brought to light that some executed criminals were innocent after all. This sad fact, together with the many non-death penalty cases that have been overturned as a result of DNA analysis, have cast a dark shadow on the U.S. legal, we will not call it justice, system. Accusations of prosecutorial misconduct, police misconduct, and mistaken or purposely misleading testimony by experts have also created serious doubts about the fairness, or lack thereof, in death penalty cases. Even people who have no moral objection to killing people convicted of heinous crimes are now troubled by the specter of all too frequent mistakes and miscarriages of justice. In Nebraska, for example, the state legislature overrode the veto of the governor and outlawed capital punishment in that otherwise conservative state. As a question for my students and subscribers, should you be for the death penalty or against it? What circumstances, if any, warrant an execution? Tell us why you think that way in the comment section below this video. Here is a possible answer to this question.
Hello everyone, Matt from Ipstorian here, and today I joined the good Dr. Czar and Major Dan to give my thoughts on the very grim and serious topic of the death penalty. Maybe one day I will get invited to discuss a more light-hearted topic, like which dog breed has the cutest puppies, or whether forks are better than chopsticks, but life can't always be fun, especially when you're on death row. Severe lack of puppies now. Now, over here, we've sort of taken a lack of death penalty for granted ever since the Second World War ended, and personally, I'm completely fine with that. The complications with wrongfully accused people being sentenced to death is an argument that sort of speaks for itself, so I don't think that warrants any further explanation. But what I would say instead is that punishment in life is the only kind of punishment that we actually have in our own control. Now, notwithstanding theological discussions, we just don't know for certain what happens when we die. Some believe in eternal damnation, or a fresh start in a new life, or beer volcano with strippers. In life, though, we actually hold all the strings. So depending on the crime, you could still try to change the convict's life for the better, that they might benefit society again. Or they could contribute to society through prison labor. And even if you don't believe in a person's redemption, a lifelong sentence to prison could still be just as much of a hell than whatever hell might theologically await someone if they were sentenced to death, which, in turn, still leaves room for mistakes to be corrected in the event of a wrongful conviction. Death, on the other hand, is not something you can reverse, and if you can, then, well, tell me your secret. Now, is there a certain line that could be crossed that does warrant the death penalty? Maybe. I mean, even I, a colossal pacifist, could be persuaded into believing that there are some monsters out there who might be better off just being put down. But the big issue for me is, where do you draw that line? At what point does a proven monster cross into death penalty territory? I believe that there's just too many differences from place to place that warrants an objective and consistent standard for that. Anyway, those are my thoughts on it. I look forward to hearing yours. Take care out there.
For more great insights by Hipstorian, I encourage you to subscribe to his channel on YouTube. If you like this video and would like to receive notification of new videos, please feel welcome to subscribe to History and Headlines and become one of our patrons. Your viewership is much appreciated.